momentarily. It is the privilege of a beautiful woman to keep us all waiting anxiously for her arrival, and she has taken advantage of that privilege, and I'm glad she is. If you've never joined us before for a vampire story reading, welcome. We're going to be reading Varney the Vampire. This is a classic story from the 1840s. So this story is 50 years before Dracula was written. It's about vampires and real estate and interesting things of all different kinds. As you join with me, if you tap on the screen and show some love and appreciation, I will perform magic for you as a reward. So every 50,000 likes up here, I will perform a magical illusion of some kind for you. So thank you very much. I'm having an incredible day. Welcome in. Well, thank you, Liam. I'm glad you're a new follower. I'm going to have to make a welcome to the new followers message. We've gotten over 20,000 followers on TikTok in the last 3 days, so it's been quite incredible. Thank you all for following. I am drinking salt water, so this is salts mixed with water. If you enjoy the colors of my vest, wait till you see Jennifer's outfit tonight. It is going to be quite stunning. I'm using a mineralized salt, so it's a mixture of magnesium, potassium, sodium, various micro minerals of kinds. Why am I drinking salt water? Because it's good for me. And it's good for you too. What I think doesn't matter as much as what you think. My ozone machine you can find on my TikTok showcase. It's only like $40. It's very reasonable. I recommend it. I'm just shy of 6 feet. I'm a skosh under 6 feet. Thank you, Witchy Angel. I love you too, Randy Savage. I can tell you I'm not much of a wrestler fan of sorts, but Randy Savage, he was certainly iconic. Yes, that's a D20 you see up here on the shelf. Where are my sons at? My sons are doing whatever it might be that they want to be doing tonight. They're in their 20s. They can do what they like. Welcome in. Thank you for everyone joining us on our Google video platform. Welcome in, you guys. I love you all. We have 600 in on our TikTok audience right now. Thank you for joining me. Opinions on secured credit cards. They are wonderful ways to get started. I recommend the Open Sky Secured Visa. I think that is the best of all the beginner credit cards currently. But there are a number of other options that you could go with. I don't think the temperature of the water matters that much, but not having enough minerals in your water can dehydrate you much faster. Yes, you can get the Open Sky Secured Visa anywhere in the United States. I'm not sure about other countries, however. Discover has a secured card, but I find they're a little bit more restrictive about who they approve than the Open Sky card. I think the Open Sky is much more accessible. I do like that Discover's automatically becomes a Discover It after you've had it long enough, which is a great card. The Discover It card is awesome. Once you have a $500 limit secured credit card, I recommend spending less than $50 on it, waiting for a statement to come, and then pay it down to zero. So you buy something you would be buying anyway, less than $50, so less than 10% of the amount. So 500 is your amount, less than 50. And then when your statement comes, pay it when the statement comes in full. Pay it to zero. Then the next month, $50 or less. Again, really less than 50 would be ideal. A real easy way to do it is set it to automatically pay on the statement date, and set like your Netflix subscription to go on it. So, you know, you get charged $20 by Netflix, and then you pay your $20 bill, and boom, you're not changing anything about what you're doing, but now you have a good on-time payment and good credit utilization, and your score will improve. I just looked. I have the discover it. What does it mean? Well, it is a pronoun that's used to take the place of a noun of some sort. So where I might say, you know, basketball, I could also say it, and it could refer to the basketball. I don't know why discover it is called discover it. It was something that somebody did in marketing at some point, and that's just the way it's called. Is crypto worth it? I don't think crypto is the best investment right now for most people, but there are probably some crypto opportunities that I don't know about. Remember this, though, everyone. If everybody knows about it, and if everybody's talking about it and putting money into it, you're not going to make money at it anymore. You've missed it. You buy things when other people question you on what you buy. Otherwise, everybody would end up rich, which would make money worthless. So not everybody's going to get rich. You need to do things that are... please quit spamming the chat over here. Please stop. That's not cool. Don't like spam. Let me silence the spammer here. There, that should make things ever so much better. Crypto can be a good investment if you really know what you're doing, but it's not for everybody for sure. Oh, hi Mark. Welcome in everyone, thank you. I have been told I look like Bret Hart. I always find it to be quite interesting. Hello. I'm drinking salt water, and I just mixed it up a bit ago, so it's really cloudy, but you'll notice as the salt goes from being in suspension to being in solution that it will become clear. It's an interesting chemical process. I love chemistry. Well, thank you so much for all the kindness and your likes. Every 50,000 likes, I will perform some magic for you. So if you've never been here before, get to liking. That helps me out a lot. And today, this evening, here in about 15 minutes, we're going to begin reading from this novel. This is 50 years older than Dracula. This was written in the 1840s, and it's about a vampire named Varney and his struggles through real estate and all the difficulties of being discriminated against in the 1820s for being a vampire. And he has faced a lot of discrimination. I can see your chat. I just don't respond to that particular chat.
Did they ever send us new of these?
I don't think so. Are they expired?
Yep.
They're part of our thing, so they may have sent us some and we may have just missed it. They probably went to our old address.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So, but we can access the online, so, and the number is probably still the same for accessing the phone version of our Priority Pass. Oh, look,
Maybe.
Look who just arrived, everyone. Isn't she absolutely
I'm trying to help him get stuff set up.
amazing
Mm-hmm.
and wonderful?
Mm-hmm. He's my darling one.
Now I don't want to let you go.
Well, these are no good.
Are you going to stay with me, or do you need to go get ready?
I'll stay with you. It has some archaic thing that I thought I just read in the statements to agree to that we were supposed to present the valid card.
Yeah, nobody presents cards for things anymore.
I just can't. Shouldn't shut those there, huh? So it doesn't make it.
You replace Gatorade with fasting salt. Yes, just salt water is fine. You don't need the Gatorade. Just do some salt water. Electrolytes and salt are basically the same word.
Thank you. I'm wearing a necklace that Kelly made. Salt is good.
Yep.
Without salt, we wouldn't be walking and talking around.
There's a reason why the old school stereotypical football coaches would give you salt tablets.
Take a salt
Take a salt tablet.
tablet. If we take salt tablets with us, we have to take the whole bottle.
Sodium chloride is just one type of electrolyte. This is salt water, not sodium chloride water. There are many salts. Salt is a plural word for many, many things. This has potassium salt, sodium salt, magnesium salts. It
We
has
go roller skating.
various kinds of salt.
What if your cardiologist said no salt?
That means you're probably having too many carbs, Erica, and having high blood pressure. So that's most likely what your issue is. If you don't have carbs, salt is going to be different for you. But talk to your doctor about that, or maybe check in with a cardiologist like Dr. Anthony Chafee or some of the others. Brand on the drinking salts. She actually mixes us up ourselves.
I buy some bulk.
You don't like
this
salt.
pillow.
The reason why
Just
you...
in the way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I wasn't quite ready for you yet. I expected a few more
I
minutes.
threw it across the room.
Just throw it. Just throw it.
Way over there.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
if you don't like salts, that just means you probably have plenty of carbs in your life taking the place of salts, because you'll literally crave salt when you need it if you aren't overly carbohydrated. So you're probably eating too many breads and sugars in your life.
Yeah, we found the vest at Nothing to Wear.
It's a little local boutique.
Thank you.
Boutique.
It's boutical.
Boutique.
Yay! There's a little bat on the bottom.
I have not eaten anything that comes from a plant in more than 2.5 years. That includes bread.
This one has a turtle.
Oh, it does.
There's a turtle. It's like a little clear turtle bead.
Do you know how many of the top you've had properties you own?
No veggies. Please fix the skull.
The skull is fine.
Yeah, I think he's good.
I think he's okay. What do you want to fix about him? You use Himalayan salt in your
cool.
water. We use Redmond salt from Redmond, Utah, which is a pink
Thank
mineralized
you.
salt. How did we find
Fluoride.
out about the carnivore diet? From other content creators. So we follow content creators like Dr.
Ken
Berry,
Berry.
who's a great doctor that's been carnivore and has taught us a lot of things before we got involved in the
Dr.
carnivore diet.
Philip Ovadia.
Yep. Robert Siwas. How much salt is in my water? In this amount of water, which was about there when I
Like
started.
a teaspoon?
That's probably a teaspoon of salt.
And it's magnesium, potassium.
Sodium and various other minerals, trace minerals. Go study Europe. Well, that sounds like a great idea. Darling, I think Gracie has an amazing idea. You want to go to Europe tomorrow?
That sounds marvelous.
All right.
We'll go to Europe
Gracie,
tomorrow.
we're going to go to Europe tomorrow, and we're going to go experience it in person. How's that sound? Let's start by going to maybe London, because, English, then we can go, I don't know, maybe Istanbul. How does that sound?
That sounds divine.
Okay. Gracie, it's settled. Thank you for your suggestion. We are going to Europe now tomorrow, and we will start to study it. We'll maybe spend a week or so over there and figure out all about European things.
Well, I do believe we're on the European side of Istanbul, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll be on the European side of Istanbul.
Yes. Remember, that is where the continental divide is. If we crossed the Bosphorus, we'd be in Asia.
We have about 20 properties now. We're working on trying to find some more. I was talking to somebody about some properties that I may be looking at before the next week or two is out.
Thank you.
Yeah, not Constantinople. We'll be going to Istanbul.
I haven't really wore the corset out. I've definitely wore this shirt out, though.
Yes, I do expect to go live while we're in Turkey and probably do some interesting videos of some cool places.
Thank you.
We are leaving tomorrow.
Don't worry, we have house sitters. 3 men.
Yep, I have 3 strong and capable people taking care of my properties and things while I'm gone.
Thank you.
Don't get mad for asking. I'm not sure what you would want me to get mad for asking. Your parents just got back from Turkey. They loved it.
We have not fixed the
Awesome.
mouse problem. And actually, I suspect because I won't be feeding the birds while I'm gone, if the men don't feed the birds, the wild birds outside, that there'll be more mice inside. Savior actually heard them in the walls, and I've heard them in the walls a couple times squeaking.
Yes.
So they'll come in if they can't have access to the.
Shay saw one do a triple Lutz somersault off of the thing yesterday too, and he added some more peanut butter to the traps and all that, and it did not help.
Thank you.
I'm allergic to cats. I'm not going to get a cat, but thank you for the suggestion. Besides, most cats that I found are not very good at actually hunting mice. Most of them are just lazy.
Currently, we do not have any properties in Texas. Currently. That could change at any time.
Oh, they went on a Viking cruise. That's amazing.
Oh.
We've actually been interested in possibly doing one of those. The movie will start filming in April right now is the schedule, and I will definitely be sharing more details as time moves on. They hope to release it by October. Have I been to Florida or Finland? I'm not sure which that is.
I've been to Florida, but not Finland.
Mm-hmm.
Why Turkey, darling?
Because I am a man in his 40s, and I'm now cast to be in some movies and other things, and I've decided it's time to take care of a shiny spot on the back of my head, and Turkey is world-renowned for being able to fix that problem. Although my hair looks pretty good from the front, they are going to take care of that spot, which I think will help to make things better for filming and everything else in the future.
The puppy has been rehomed. If you're talking about Astro now lives on a farm with ducks and pigs and chickens and other dogs.
This will be my first time acting, yes. I'm a little bit anxious about my ability. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but the director seems to have some confidence in it, and I think it'll be fun.
Actual farm. Like with all the farm animals and the people that used to live in town but are thrilled to be living out in the country.
No, they will not be shaving my head. This isn't the Dark Ages. We have methods of doing things without shaving heads now.
There is that a working title for the movie? Is that the actual title?
Right now, the working title is Walker. That is subject to possible change, but it's probably, as time moves forward, it may become more and more solidified.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you're here, Jesse.
Yes, make sure you're following in case something has changed, and consider joining my team with the Heart Maze. That always helps. We're almost to 50,000 likes. If you get there before 7, which is only 4 minutes away, I will do a magic trick before we start reading.
I haven't done my Heart Me for the day.
Thank you for all my new followers. I will try to do a video tomorrow to welcome in. We've had over 20,000 new followers in just the last 2 to 3 days. So I definitely need to make a new welcoming video to kind of share some of our frequently asked questions and all of those things. I did look at visiting Transylvania on our trip, but unfortunately it was 20 hours by train for a really cool train tour and everything, and I just don't have the time to be able to make the Transylvanian trip work this time. And when I go spend some time in Transylvania, I want to spend a while there, so that won't be this trip. Do you help the less fortunate at all? I would say that I do, but that's not the kind of thing that we just, talk about specifically. One of the best ways to help the less fortunate is to give opportunities for affordable housing and for opportunities to work and improve their situations. And in that way, I help a lot of people. You're a local. I'm sorry I didn't see the rest of what you said. The messages are coming in very fast right now with 850 people in the chat. So.
Hello.
Yes, it'd be very cool to see Vlad's castle. We're at 50,000. You guys got there in no time.
Yay!
Let's do some magic before we start reading. So I'm the only person in the world that can do this trick. If you've never seen it before, welcome. So what I have here is a deck of cards.
I have 2 cleaners that help us with our properties.
What I'm going to do is take a card from this deck, flip it around backwards, and put it in the deck backwards. That in itself, not that interesting, I know, but what makes it interesting is I'm going to do this not with my fingers and my hands, but with my tongue. Somebody here picks the card. King of Spades, huh? Oh. Oh. Oh.
There, I just did all my fan club stuff.
Mm.
You're doing the King of Spades. Nice.
Oh. Mm.
Hi, friend.
Mm.
I say he chose this attire because even if you are a vampire, you do not have to be dapper. There are many an undapper vampire out in the world.
Let's see if you can find the King of Spades in there. Do you see it? See this one right here?
We will get there on reading the classic vampire novel.
Alexa, thank you for picking a fantastic card. And if I just picked your card correctly, maybe you should consider giving me a galaxy or something amazing. I know, ladies, most guys can't even find the bean, right?
I'm getting close to being level 29 here on your fan club.
Oh, wow.
Getting there.
Yes, I'm still running for mayor. What vampire lore is your favorite? I've enjoyed Varney the Vampire very much. Hey, Raven, welcome in.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enlist Raven's help on helping to take care of my mom's dog when we get back.
Oh.
That'll be one of my Christmas presents to my mom.
That sounds like a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a high five.
Yeah.
Way to go. That'll be helping one of our amazing tenants. You want to log into the chat and it's time to start reading. It's 7 o'clock.
It is.
Ah, thank you for the galaxy.
Thank you. I don't know why it went out. There we go.
Okay. So, quick recap. We joined Varney on his quest in the 1820s in England to buy a piece of property. He, as one would, went and talked to the owners and made a very fair offer to buy the property, and they discriminated against him because he was a vampire and didn't want to sell it to him because he was a vampire, and then roused an angry mob of people to come burn his house down and chase him out of town and try to unalive him and everything else. But Varney was respectful through this whole thing. He didn't pew one of them in a duel. He was more than respectful. And eventually it ended up working out in Varney's favor. He ended up getting a huge sum of money that he may have gotten through good or bad means, depending on your perspective. And he is now playing the part of a baron, and he's bought a huge estate and is having maidens come in to try to wed him.
To get him married.
To try to get married to a lovely lady. And
Helene.
Helene is the one that's caught his eye, and he arranged with Helene's mother for her to wed him. And fortunately, Helene's mother was very in need of money, so Varney's money was able to get the girl's hand, even though she was somewhat resistant. But now the love of this girl is returned from the sea, and he's not exactly given up hope on her yet.
Well, the wedding hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet, so he thinks that he still has a chance. So there is some antics that could happen very soon, depending on how things go with our young betrothed woman and our vampire. Do I have any lines tonight?
I doubt you do.
Okay, so I read all the parts for vampire.
I just saw
Varney.
Pamela Pumpkin's Christmas workout.
Oh, yeah?
So it was pretty awesome.
Okay, so I read the parts for Varney. She reads everything else. As she is reading, she's censoring and everything as she does this. So sometimes you may see her pause for just a moment in order to censor everything appropriate to the social medias we're using. I will be communicating to the chat through her social media. So if you've never followed, make sure to follow. And I think we're ready to go. What do you think?
Huzzahs. Let's have a good time. I'm excited. During this time, neither Mrs. Williams nor the Baron Stolmeyer were idle spectators of the progress of the hours, but on the contrary they made the best possible use of the week which was to elapse before the marriage ceremony took place after Helene had given her consent to it. £500 in the hands of such a person as Mrs. Williams will go a long way and produce an amazing amount of show and glitter, so that she managed, before the day on which the ceremony was to be performed arrived, to make quite certain that herself and her daughters would present a most dazzling appearance, and she thought it not at all improbable that even at the very church some matrimonious individual might be dazzled into thinking of matrimony with one of her other daughters, upon seeing what a brilliant appearance they managed to present upon the marriage of Helene. "I'm quite certain that no harm can come of it," she said. "If no good does, and at all events if no good is done at the church, the Baron will soon be giving parties enough to bring out the dear girls to perfection, particularly as I fully intend that we shall all live at Anderbury House." Mrs. Williams considered this as a settled point, whether the Baron liked it or not, and knowing as she did the gentle and quiet disposition of Helene, she did not doubt for a moment of being permitted to rule completely over the domestic affairs of her establishment. All this was amazingly satisfactory to such a lady as Mrs. Williams, and the very thing of all others she would have liked had she been looking out for what would please her in the marriage of her daughter. We shall shortly see how these views and opinions were verified by the fact. All the other preparations were left to the Baron, and when he wrote a letter to Mrs. Williams saying that he would be ready by 10 o'clock on the morning which had been named for the nuptials, and would send one of his carriages for the bride, Mrs. Williams was perfectly satisfied that all was correct. Should have pinned my hair back a little bit. It's tickling my
very,
nose.
very fun today. Your curls turned out amazing.
It tickles my nose.
So, thank you, and everyone. We're going to be reading, and periodically I will interrupt her potentially or other things. Your taps will be rewarded. Everything will be appreciated. What do you want?
Water, please. Thank you, sir.
She's amazing. Okay. This is our salt water. As I said, it's going to start clearing up the longer it sits. All right, getting back to our vampire story.
There was no very good excuse for calling at Anderbury House, but if she had then called, she certainly would have been astonished at the preparations which the Baron was making for the day which was so near at hand. It was quite terrific the expense that he went to, and the glorious manner in which he fitted up one of the largest apartments in the house for a dance looked really like an expenditure of the most reckless character, and such as indeed it must have required an immense fortune to withstand. The walls of that apartment were hung with crimson draperies of a rich texture, and such beauty of design that they were the admiration of the very workmen themselves who were employed upon the premise. Then the magnificent order he gave for a feast upon the occasion, and the wines that he laid in, really almost exceeded belief, and such proceedings were indeed highly calculated to give people most exaggerated visions regarding his wealth. He had indeed mentioned to Mrs. Williams that he had silver mines on some of his estates abroad, and that fact to her mind was quite sufficient to account for any amount of money that he might possess, because to her idea of geology and mineralogy, the discovery of a silver mine meant finding a hole of immense wealth, width, and depth, crammed with the precious metal. But, be this as it may, and whether the Baron Stolmeyer of Salzburg owed his wealth to silver mines or to other sources, one thing was quite clear, and that was that he had it. And that was the grand point, for in a highly civilized and evangelical country like this, the questions of how a man got his money is not near so often asked as has he got it, and it is quite amazing that liberality of feeling and sentiment is immediately infused into people by the fact of successful speculation of any kind, while failure immediately incurs the greatest opprobrium and contempt. And now the day was so close at hand that Mrs. Williams got into a terrible flutter of spirits, and began really to wish it over, for she was completely ready, and each minute became an hour of impatience to her. She was continually bothering the Baron with notes and messages upon different subjects, and he had the urbanity to answer 2 or 3 of them, but he soon left that off, and the last half-dozen at the least were, to Mrs. Williams's great mortification, taken no notice of all. Some of these notes were upon the most nonsensical points, and several of them, although they did not actually ask it, pretty strongly hinted that more money would be a very desirable thing. The Baron would not understand any hint, however, upon the subject, so Mrs. Williams became fully convinced that she must make the best of it as she could, and put up for the present with the £500 that she had already received. But when the day had actually dawned on which the auspicious event was to come off, and upon looking around her, she found herself surrounded by gay apparel and jewellery, she almost dreaded that even yet it would turn out to be some delusion or a dream, for she could scarcely believe in the reality of such a glory and magnificence belonging to her. But facts are stubborn things, and whether the good or for good or for evil, are not likely to be got over. So when she looked out of the window and saw that a bright morning sun was shining, and that the life, animation, and bustle of the day was commencing, she told herself that it was indeed real, and that she had reached very nearly the summit of her desires and expectations. "Yes," she exclaimed, "I shall be mother-in-law to the Baron, and I dare say that I have at least 20 servants in Underbury Hall to command and control continually." Bit of a control freak?
Maybe a bit. I love you guys. Make sure to keep tapping.
A more gratifying reflection than this could not possibly have presented itself to Mrs. Williams, for if any one thing could be more delightful than another, it certainly was that kind of petty power which gives an individual a control over a large establishment. After she had arisen on that eventful morning, she did not allow her establishment many minutes' repose, but in the course of half an hour all was bustle and excitement, and no small share of confusion. And while she was thus energetically pushing on her preparations, let us see what the Bannerworths are about, now that they have fairly arrived at Anderbury, and are in all readiness, probably, to be present at the ceremony. Pardon me.
Well, I'm glad you're going to be following now. If you're not following, make sure to double check that, and heart me's will help to make sure you always see my content, so consider sending those.
By Flora's intercession, a peace was established between Jack and the Admiral, but the former took the latter down to the old seaman's cottage in order to introduce him to James Anderson, and on the road he made him acquainted with the particulars of the young man's story, and the same time informing him of the wish that Anderson has expressed to be permitted to join their party.
"Oh, certainly,"
said the Admiral.
"Certainly. Let him come by all means, although I must say that he ought to leave for London at once with his dispatches, or, all events, with the news that he had lost them. However, I am not within active service, and therefore have no right to do anything more than advise him in the matter." "Oy, he will go,"
said Jack,
"as soon as he's seen the sweetheart, and perhaps kicked the Baron, for though he says he wouldn't, I live in hopes as yet that he will be aggravated enough to do it."
The Admiral liked James Anderson so much that he not only promised him that he should go to the wedding under the cover of the general invitation which he, the Admiral, had received, but he proposed likewise that he should come home with him at once and be introduced to the Bannerworths, and by home he meant the inn at Anderbury, where they were staying. The young man expressed himself highly gratified at this invitation, and at once accepted it, so that they walked towards the inn together, and began to make preparations for their appearance at Anderbury House. Flora and the Bannerworths, as well as Charles, received young Anderson very graciously, and they each expressed to him their sympathy for the painful situation in which the Baron's marriage was placing him. Flora and Charles Holland, as may be well supposed, could both feel, and feel acutely too, for any one crossed in his affection as poor James Anderson was, and it certainly much dampened the satisfaction that they had in going to what everybody told them would certainly be the most brilliant wedding that had taken place in the past part of the country for many a year. "Let us hope," said Henry, "that you will find some other, Mr. Anderson, who will be more worthy of your esteem, and that she who has treated so lightly your affection and her own faith."
"I know not,"
said Anderson,
"whether to accuse her not, for who knows but after all she may be the victim of treachery, notwithstanding the apparent power, evidence that has been given to me by her mother."
The Bannerworth family were determined, and so was the Admiral, that they would bestow what credit they could upon those who had so kindly invited them, and accordingly, when they started for the Hall in the handsome carriage which had brought them down to Anderbury, they certainly presented a rather showy and attractive appearance. But still, when they reached the entrance to Anderbury House, they found that theirs was by no means the only equipage of kind that was to be there. For although both the entrances were open for the reception of guests, they had to wait a considerable time before they could get up to either of them. 150 guests, 60 or 80 of whom kept equipages, were calculated to make some little degree of confusion. But when the Bannerworths family fairly got within the house, everything else was forgotten in their admiration of the brilliant arrangements within. The richest carpets were laid down that money could purchase, and the servants in gorgeous liveries ushered the guests into the immense hall in which the marriage ceremony was to take place, and which was decorated with a splendor that was perfectly regal. And here a new set of domestics glided noiselessly about, with various refreshments upon silver slabers, and the place began rapidly to fill with such an assemblage of wealth and beauty and rank as perhaps scarcely ever had been congregated in one place before. But among those whose beauty attracted much attention, we may need well reckon our friend Flora Bell, as she was now properly called, and whose sweet countenance was the cause of many a passing observation, couched in the most flattering terms. It wanted yet an hour to the time of the ceremony being performed, and the Bannerworths, as they saw their companion young Anderson was in a painful state of excitement, all sat down in the deep recess of a large window to wait the coming of the bride and bridegroom. "I don't think, Mr. Anderson," said Henry, "that your coming here at all was a well-advised step, but since you are here, you should muster up the resolution enough not to betray any feeling."
"I will not betray it, although I feel it," said Anderson. "Rely upon it that I shall look much firmer, and act much firmer when she whom I wish to see is actually here, than I do at present. I am enduring suspense now, and that is the worst of all."
"I do wish," interposed Flora, "that you had seen her whom you loved before the ceremony, for in that case, although you might have endured the pang of finding that she was willing to call herself another's, you would have been spared the pain of this day's proceedings."
"I wish to heaven that I had seen her,
but I knew not how to arrange such a meeting, and when I was shown in her own handwriting, which I knew too well to doubt, a consent to be the wife of another, I no longer had the spirit and the perseverance to ask to see her, and it was an afterthought that made me wish to look upon her face once more before I left her forever."
"What?"
said Jack Pringle suddenly, making his appearance.
"What is he glamoring on about? About feelings?" "Oh, so you have got in, have you?" said the Admiral. "So I have got in. Why,
What you mean by that? Of course I've got in. Wasn't I invited? I do think you get a little stupider every day, and in course of time you won't know what you are about. I should not be surprised to see you take out your handkerchief and to blow your eye instead of your nose. Latterly, Jack, when he made one of these speeches, always walked away very quickly, leaving the Admiral and his anger to evaporate, as best as it might, so that he escaped the retort which otherwise he might have received.
I love Jack Pringle. I think he is the second best character in this story. Of course, Varney being the best. Do I have any lines in the next chapter?
I don't believe so.
Wow, you guys may not get to hear me read tonight, depending on how long it takes. We'll see.
Unless I mislabeled it.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem so.
That's okay. So she reads all the stories. I read the parts for the vampires. Thank you all for all the wonderful
I let him off
compliments.
easy, didn't I?
She's going to sip some water and rest her voice for just a little bit. We're almost to 100,000 likes. I will do some magic for you when we get 100,000. So thank you, everybody. What if these people are actually real vampires, but we don't think because they're on here? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? My rentals are in Fort Smith, Arkansas region.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Roxy. I hope it's going well for you.
We might get stuck in London. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Marie.
It is actually saltwater, yes.
Yes. Most of you would find it off-putting.
But there's only like a teaspoon in there. It's not like salt water. I mean, it's not like ocean water.
Right. Well, you should come stay in the Vampire Airbnb.
I certainly think there are areas of Fort Smith that are haunted.
Mm-hmm. What does salt water do?
It helps your
Hang on.
body.
It appears to sit inside a container and move as I move with it. I would say it behaves just like regular water. That's what it does.
But it has a solution.
Yes.
It has a solution.
Salt is a electrolyte. So when you drink Gatorade, you're drinking salt water. It's just sweetened and flavored so you don't realize you're drinking salt water. Salt is very helpful for your body, especially when you need to rehydrate.
I'm getting feathers on things today.
What's in the casket? You'll have to stay if you want to find out what's in the casket. Oh, we're at 100,000. Let's do some magic. All right. Let's see. What trick should I do?
Well, I'm here next to you.
Okay. You want to do the dangerous one?
I guess I will. That way I'll get it over with for the evening.
Oh. Bum bum bum.
Bum bum bum.
Okay. Let me move the microphone back.
Bum 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 bum.
All right. So what I have here, now I'm not as experienced as some magicians. I'm not quite ready to use blades, but this I promise is sharp enough that it hurts and leaves a nasty bruise when I mess up. And what we have here is the receiving end of this. You can see the groove. I've got it set up to where we can take it apart.
And the handle to where we can hold it shut.
Yeah, all that. So you can see when this slides, it fits right in there, just like that. See? No tricks. Okay. Now, we're going to put her hand right into this hole. Come on. Go on, dear. I haven't messed this up in a long time.
Ooh.
Don't spill the water. Get way up in there, Morty. All right, here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 3.
Oh, he did it again, right on 1.
There we go.
Ah,
Good girl. I love you. You're my special helper.
you're sick in bed. I hope you get well soon.
The next magic trick will be at 50,000 more taps, so 150,000 taps. And I will do some more magic. I don't have any homes in the Sherwood area now. As much as I appreciate Robin Hood and what he did for the peoples of the past.
That is my bookmark. Oh no, it went way over there.
I
Okay.
will fix it for you.
Stand up for a second.
Move around. Here you go. I can fetch some more water and make that arrangement if you'd like.
Oh, you will need more water after a bit.
Yes, here in just a little bit. Well, thank you. And Shane, I appreciate your name very much. What style do you, sorry, I couldn't read it fast enough. Sometimes the comments come in so fast. I have been to Mexico.
Been there once?
I'm planning to start a podcast early next year. That's definitely on my list of things to do, but I'm doing a lot. I'm running for mayor next year. I'm going to be in a movie next year. I've got a TV producer that I was just talking to today that's still working on trying to get me on an HGTV show. I'm remodeling houses. I'm buying houses, wholesaling. I'm TikToking full time. What else am I doing?
I was going to say the lovely person who was asking about POTS.
Yes.
I do feel like I have gotten better.
I would say so.
I had the symptoms where I would get the near fainting, where you stand up and your heart rate starts going wild, and you almost faint again, and then the breath hunger. So those of you who also have POT with the little s understand the breath hunger. So
we don't have any rentals available today, but we are trying to get 2 of them ready by the end of this month.
I'm much better. But drink salt water if you haven't been.
Salt water is really helpful. There's a reason why when people go to the hospital, one of the most default things that happen is they get put on a saltwater IV to try to increase the salt, because it's amazing how many problems you may be having, heart palpitations or other things that could just be low salt.
And there's, of course, the different types of salt that you use as electrolytes. Most people are actually low on magnesium salt.
Yes, I am running for mayor. I made the announcement last month of Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's a city of nearly 100,000 people in western Arkansas, in order to fix some problems with my city. I don't really want the job, and I'm not being shy about this, but I will take the job long enough to fix a couple major issues and then resign and let somebody else come in and take over from that. But there are some problems that have been a problem for 30, 40 years that just need to be taken care of, and clearly no one else is taking care of it. So sometimes you just need somebody to step up and fix something. You can complain for so long about, I wish they would do something about that, but at some point you have to take responsibility yourself and say, okay, I guess I can be they. I can be the person that needs to go take care of this thing.
I guess the breath hunger is a little bit hard to explain if you haven't ever experienced it, but if you've ever just tried to get a breath and you can't get a breath, you can't get that full breath, and you just keep having to take deep breaths, it's pretty wild. And it happens, for me, it always happened right after I was about to pass out.
We are reading Varney the Vampire. This is a story from the 1840s. The story is 50 years older than Dracula. A video about how we met and tell the love story. Oh, how lovely that would be.
He is my darling one.
I might perhaps do that.
For you local yokels, I actually was a intern at Evangel Temple. Thank you so very much.
Well, I'm glad you made it in, David. Welcome in.
I was just thinking,
And he must have to include in a rental lease as a landlord advice. So definitely several things. One, lawn care. If you need the tenants to take care of the lawn, which is most people in America, they need to take care of the lawn. Make sure to include that in the lease. So if they're not doing it, that will be the thing. That they keep the utilities on and in their name, if that's part of their responsibility, make sure that's included. I just lost $880 last week because a tenant turned the gas off and just used electric heaters rather than the gas. And after the gas was off for a year and a half, it required a recertification to a new standard, a standard that wasn't required when the home was built. They pressurized it way, way, way higher, and the house didn't meet that test because of that high of a pressure not really being realistic to what gas pipes do. So then we had to have all the gas lines redone in the house just because the gas was off for that long. There are some interesting things like that that could cost you money.
So yeah, I agree with you with the oxygen starvation thing, and because whenever I take my oxygen level is great. But yeah, the doctors don't necessarily see everything that happens to you in a day. They're taking a snapshot when they see you. You know, with the tests that they run right at that moment, that's just a single picture out of everything that goes on in your life in a day. Alrighty.
It's not bad piping. So gas lines are pressurized to 1 psi or less normally in our city. And the gas standard was 15 pounds for forever. That was the test level. They recently increased it to 30 pounds in just the last year or two. So doubling the amount of pressure in something increases the likelihood that something is going to leak greatly. And it's way beyond what the standard would normally be done. Looking at my pipes would not have changed that. Keeping the gas on would have changed me having to change that. So that's entirely because of a new standard that's kind of beyond what needs to be there realistically.
I would get a blood pressure monitor, and I would do experiments and see how that affects things for my person that I'm talking to.
And basically, what we had to do was have a plumber go through and loosen each connection, re-pipe do it, and tighten it way, way up to be able to meet that new standard. So, and it's expensive, time-consuming work. Well, thank you so much. We did not give a cancellation refund. We took this D20 dice up here, and while we were live that day, we did a roll to see if we would give them a refund or not. So we gave them a fair shot, and it did not come up in their favor, so there was no refund.
It's fun. We haven't done this in a while.
Oh, we're going to do blood pressure.
Yeah.
So drinking salt water literally as we speak. Having not eaten plants in two and a half years.
It's probably been a month since I did my blood pressure.
Probably you've had roughly a stick of butter today. All of that cholesterol. How high do you think her blood pressure is going to be? How high do we think her blood pressure will be? Guesses on blood pressure. Here, have a sip of some salt water. Nope. Now, for a brief moment, she's the perfect woman, guys. She can't talk while her blood pressure is being taken. She has to sit here and just look beautiful and be silent. Give me the evil glare. I love that. 168 over 90, 118 over 82, 145 over 98, 112 over 64.
Your blood pressure is systolic, 113 millimeter of mercury. Diastolic, 73 millimeter of mercury.
Wow.
Your pulse was 79.
Yeah, that's 100
Your blood pressure is normal.
113, not 130. So 113 is not low. 113 is not low.
No. Yes. I eat about 2 sticks of butter a day. I drink 3 or 4 glasses of salt water a day and heavily salt all of my food and don't eat any plants, fiber, or vegetables and have fine blood pressure as well.
Way to go, kitty cat.
Okay, I'm going to go fetch some water and I figure it's probably about time for us to get started on the next chapter. What
It
do you think?
is time to get started on the next chapter.
Yes, we eat butter, high-fat dairy, and various meats of all different kinds.
Someone said you need to do yours so you can be the perfect silent man.
I love you so much.
Am I your what?
No, I'm just
Switch over?
looking. No, I'm just looking at you. You're okay.
Okay.
Get back to being
I'm
comfortable.
gonna start reading in a minute.
I know. I'm just appreciating the view before I go. So lovely.
Danke Shane.
Okay, you guys don't hit on her too much while I'm gone. I'll be right back.
I always have to rub the booty. I like it. Okay, I missed that. Yeah, he's my darling one. I'm going to start reading our next chapter. Hard not to rub the booty, right? At length, the hour came so anxiously looked for and expected by all Baron Stolmeyer's guests, and the great clock, which was in one of the turrets of Anderbury House, proclaimed that the minute had arrived when all was presumed to be ready for the union. All eyes were directed to a large table that was placed at one extremity of the hall, and covered with crimson velvet, at which the ceremony was to be performed. The Bannerworths were a little forward, so that they commanded a good view of everything, and James Anderson was completely hidden from observation behind the bulky form of the Admiral. Now, a small door opened, and an archdeacon somebody, who had been engaged, as you would engage a celebrated performer at some theatre, to perform the ceremony, made his appearance accompanied by several ladies and gentlemen, whom he had brought with him to partake of some of the Baron's good things. In a few moments, from another doorway came the bride, accompanied by 6 bridesmaids, but she was covered with such a massive lace veil from her head to her feet that not the slightest vestige of her countenance was visible. But still, Flora thought as the bride first came in, that she heard from beneath that veil a deep and agonized sob, and she remarked the circumstance to Charles, who confirmed her opinion at once by saying,
"It was so, and I don't think it at all likely that we should both be mistaken."
There was a slight murmur of applause and admiration among the assembled guests as the bride took her seat by the table, for although there were many there who had never seen her face, there were likewise many who had, and even those who had not could not but perceive by her graceful movements and the delicate outlines of her figure that they were looking upon a creature of rare beauty and worth. It was astonishing that the bridegroom should be late, and the audience who were present began to be indignant at such a fact, and whispered together concerning it, in language not very flattering to the Baron, who, had he heard it, would have found that he must mind what he was about, or his rapidly acquired popularity would soon be at a discount. Minute after minute passed, and Mrs. Williams, who was attired in a richly flowing garment of white silk embroidered with flowers, began to be a most particular fidget. "Where could the Baron be? Oh, good God, where is the Baron? And someone or two said, 'Darn the Baron.'" When suddenly the door at which the bride had entered was again flung open, and 2 servants in rich liveries made their appearance, one standing on each side of it. Then there was heard approaching a slow and measured footstep, and presently attired in a court suit of rich velvet, the Baron Stolmeyer of Salzburg appeared in the hall, and marched up to the table. He had but just time to execute half a bow to the assembled multitude, when Admiral Bell called out in a voice that awakened every echo in the place,
"It is Varney the Vampire, by God!"
Yes, it was Varney, the bold, reckless, audacious Varney, who had thus come out in a new character, and with vast pecuniary resources, acquired heaven knows how or when, was seeking to ally himself to one so young and beautiful as Helene Williams. We do absolutely and positively despair of giving an adequate idea to the render of the scene that followed. Ladies shrieked, The bride fainted. Mrs. Williams went into strong hysterics and kicked everybody. Jack Pringle shouted until he was hoarse, while Varney turned and made a dash to escape through the door at which he had just entered. James Anderson, however, by springing over a table, succeeded in clutching him by the collar behind, but Varney turned on an instant, and lifting him from the ground as if he had been a child, he flung him among a tray of confectionery and wine, and from thence he rolled into Mrs. Williams' lap. Following close, however, upon the footsteps of Anderson in pursuit of Varney, had been Henry Bannerworth, but he accomplished nothing except to strike his head violently against the door through which Varney had escaped, and which was dashed in his face, and immediately bolted on the other side.
"He's a vampire!"
shouted the Admiral.
"I tell you all, he's the vampire, Varney the Vampire!
And no more a baron.
And no more a baron than I am a broomstick! Stop that old woman from making such a terrible noise!" "Well, it's the bride's mother," said somebody. "What
Okay.
is that to me?"
So everyone, I
Roared the
want you to identify what's happening here. So we have, once again, Varney, our sweet, beloved vampire of the story, has come into money through whatever means that they don't even know, and is decided to seek out the pleasure of a woman's company in the time of the way it was done, and purchasing essentially a bride and arranging for a marriage for her to live an incredibly taken care of life in a beautiful estate, and everybody's fine with that until somebody there accuses him of being a vampire, and now he has to go flee because everybody's discriminating against him. Why? Because he's a vampire. If he were not a vampire, these people would not be freaking out in this way, and that is not cool. That's just straight up discrimination, and we need to move past small-mindedness like that, I think, anyway. What do you think, dear?
I would agree.
Yes. They wouldn't sell him the property, but yet he still managed to make a success of himself, despite being discriminated against in that. And now he can't even marry someone and be happily ever after. Because why? Because he's a vampire. He's not like the rest of us.
So, of course, the Admiral was wanting that woman, that infernal woman, to stop her screeching.
Yes. Well, that's understandable.
The mother of the bride.
"What's that to me?"
roared the Admiral.
"It don't make her a bit less of a nuisance. I offer £100 reward for Varney. And there must be some people here that know the house well enough to catch him."
"Sir, do you mean £100 for master, sir?" said a great footman with yellow plush breeches.
"Why, yes I do, you hog in armour,"
said the Admiral. The footman rushed through another doorway in a moment, and then Jack Pringle jumped up upon a chair, and waving his hat, he cried, "Hurrah! Hurrah! 3 cheers for old Varney! Hurrah!"
"I'll tell you what it is, messmates, he's the messiest fellow as you ever see, and as for you ladies who have been disappointed of the marriage, I'll come and kiss you all in a minute, and we'll drink up old Varney's wine, and eat up his dinner like bricks. Me eye, a great game we will have, to be sure. I'm coming."
At this moment the Admiral gave such a kick to one of the hind legs of the chair that down came Jack as quickly as if he had disappeared through some trap door.
"Hold your noise, will you?"
said the Admiral.
"You great brawling brute."
"I'll settle him," said Mrs. Williams, who had suddenly recovered, and had not Jack suddenly made his escape, it is highly probable that she would have made him a regular scapegoat in the affair, and that he alone, for Anderson had pretty quickly escaped her, would have felt the consequence of her deep disappointment. The confusion now became, if anything, worse than at first, for many of the guests, who had looked on apparently quite stunned and paralyzed at what had taken place, now recovered and joined their voices to the general clamor. Some, to rush out of the place, took the opportunity of going through the different rooms, while a number, who had heard of the widespread fame of Varney the Vampire, and who were utterly astonished to find him and the Baron to be the same person, joined in the pursuit, with the hope of taking prisoner so alarming a personages. No one knew for some time what had become of the clergyman until Jack Pringle saw a human foot sticking out from under a table, upon which he took hold of it, and with a pull dragged the archdeacon and somebody fairly out, to the great horror of some of the very religious old ladies who were present, who considered that an archdeacon must be somebody very wonderful indeed.
Some things don't really change. Apparently in the 1820s, the older folks were the ones that thought of the archdeacon as being something very important and religious, and the young people would be the ones to pull one out by their ankle. Even then, some things are always the same.
"Hilloa, Mr. Parson," said Jack. "I suppose you thought it was your old friend the devil come for you before your time. But cheer up, I know him. It's only a vampire, and that's nothing when you are used to it."
Jack did not seem at all to think that it was very necessary that he should assist in the capture of Varney, and probably the real fact was that he did not care whether Varney was captured or not, and so he walked to one of the tables which was loaded with refreshments, and knocking the neck off of a bottle of champagne, he gave a nod to Mrs. Williams, saying, I don't wish to accidentally have...
I know, go ahead and
Rub
read it.
my
I'm
face.
not going to hit you in the face.
No, do your thing.
Okay, we got to 150,000 likes, so here we go. Every 50,000 likes, I perform illusions for you. So if you enjoy magic, make sure and give us some taps. We don't use any sugar in the carnivore diet, and when we first started we had spices of all different kinds, but no longer anymore. After about 3 or 4 months,
Well,
you just
that's
don't...
not completely accurate.
There'll be spices if somebody else makes food for us or something like that, but you don't really care for the spices. They distract you from the flavor of the meat.
That's actually one of the more difficult things, is people want to be nice and cook for you at times, and they don't necessarily understand the intricacies of what you're doing. So most of the time, even though he's more strict than I am, but most of the time I think we end up being dirty carnivore.
Right, and that's just going to be the thing, because people are going to prepare food to their taste, and their taste is trained on plants, and they want to mix plants in with the flavors. But you really will crave meat in its like purest form after you've done this a while.
Pink snapper is lovely. So Jack climbed on a table and he's knocked the head off of a bottle, or the neck off of a bottle.
So he's got some broken glass in hand.
He's got a full bottle. The top is...
Yeah, the broken glass part sticking off of the bottle. That's what he's meaning, right?
No. He's got the bottle full of wine.
Oh.
And he sabered it.
Oh, okay. That's what happened. Sabering.
Yes.
I forgot about sabering. Do you know what sabering is? Sabering's really cool. You should look it up sometime. But it's when they use a sword to slash down the bottle and catch it. And okay, cool.
"Come on, old girl, take something to drink. That red nose of yours looks as if you knew something of the bottle. It's only me, so you needn't be shy. Oh, it's devilish good wine, though. I'll give old Varney a credit for getting up this thing decently, when he certainly has, and no mistake."
Who has seen my daughter? Where is my daughter? Cried Mrs. Williams as she looked about her in vain for Helene.
"You needn't trouble yourself, ma'am," said the Admiral. "She's just walked off with a little fellow of the name of Anderson, who, although he was no match for Varney the Vampire, I think will turn out to be one for your daughter."
Mrs. Williams was thoroughly thunderstricken, and she sat down in a chair and commenced wringing her hands, muttering as she did so, "Oh, that I should have lived to see this day! Oh, that I should have lived to have existed to be so... "Jolly well humbugged, ma'am," said Jack Pringle.
"With a vampire instead of a baron? Why, Lord bless you, ma'am, nobody in their senses would have taken old Varney for a baron. Why, he's a regular old bloodsucker, he is, and nice family you would have had. But, however, you are fond of him. You can marry him yourself. You know now that I shouldn't at all wonder, but he will consent, for a man will put up with a whole lot with any old cat when he finds he can't get a better."
"Good God," said Mrs. Williams. "I think I know your voice now. Aren't you Admiral Green?"
"Avast there," said Jack. "I ain't anything of the kind. They call me Colonel Bluebottle of the Horse Marines."
The what?
Horse marines. Ain't you never heard of 'em, ma'am?
I certainly never did. But don't try to deceive me, sir. You are Admiral Green, and if you will, my dear sir, quite spare me a few minutes on your valuable time, I shall be able to explain to you.
What?
Said Jack. Why, that really you will scarcely believe it, but really, Admiral Green, my daughter Julia, although I say one of the best of girls.
Oh, I dare say she is, ma'am, but I don't know that as much matters to me.
Excuse me, Admiral Green, but it really does, and you must know, of course, it's quite between ourselves this, that she happens to see you when you did me the honor of calling upon me.
Oh, did she really?
Yes, my dear Admiral, and do you know that ever since then she has been positively raving about you, as you are good enough to say the Baron should be not stand in the way of your affections. Allow me to recommend my daughter Julia to you.
Oh, well, that's it, said Jack. Well, ma'am, I should not say no, only that you ain't half a particular enough for me.
Not particular, oh good God.
No, ma'am, you ain't. Here you would have married one of your daughters off to a vampire, and how do I know that the other sort of old fish you might bring into the family?
Oh, but my dear Admiral.
Oh, come on. I'll tell you what now. What I'll do, I don't mind standing something devilish handsome if you were to marry old Varney yourself.
What? The Baron that was... Oh, and the vampire that is... I marry him? Oh, dear, no. I really could not. And that is to say, how much would you give, Admiral Green?
Oh, I knew it. Who says after this that women won't marry the very devil himself if they only have the chance? And now, Mother Williams, I'll just tell you what you've done. The fact is that I took a fancy to you myself, and that's why I came here all today, meant to have proposed to you. And if you had only said that you would not have the Baron Vampire for any money, darn it, but I would have had you myself, and settled the matter of £15,000 a year upon you.
Oh, gracious Providence! What did I just hear?
Just what I says. I'm a man of my word, ma'am, and I would have done it.
Mrs. Williams was so affected at the chance that she had lost that she quite forgot to look after Helen, but was actually compelled to indulge herself with a glass or two of something strong and powerful, which she said was sherry, but which somebody else said was brandy, in order to recover from the faint feeling that would come over her. After this, Jack thought that he had about the bitterest revenge upon Mrs. Williams that was possible to achieve, and he was quite right as far as that went. The old Admiral, too, who overheard some part of the colloquy, was quite delighted with it, and again told himself what a clever fellow Jack was, and quite a wonderful character in his way.
Ah, said he, one would have to sail to tolerate a lot of voyages before finding anybody is exactly Jack's equal, and I'll be hanged if I don't forgive him for the next piece of mutinous conduct he is guilty of, on account of the way that he has served out that horrid old Mother Williams, for in all my life I never saw a woman I disliked more. Stop, what am I saying? Did I really forget Mrs. Chillingsworth, the doctor's wife? Ha ha! That was too bad.
That's been an enjoyable read.
Why, yes it has.
I love Jack Pringle. I think he's amazing.
I think my voice for Mother Williams kind of went away from what it was and a little bit more Marge Simpson-y.
Maybe a little bit more Marge Simpson, but you're a sweetheart. And thank you for putting so much effort into reading for everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying our story time. And thank you, everyone, for all the kindness. Please be respectful of the other people in the chat. There are people here that want to heckle me. That's okay. If it makes you feel better about your situation or your place in life to say, well, at least I'm not like that guy, and it makes you feel good about it, that's fine. I'd happily be of service to you in that way. I don't mind helping to teach you things, but I certainly don't mind being the thing that you can find to be weird and make your own life feel normal if that's of help. But don't be cruel to the other people in my chat, please.
You poor dear.
Poor dear. What?
You have to put up with sleeping next to me every night.
I know, it's pretty tragic, guys. You have no idea how difficult it can be.
The
Whatever will I do?
poor, poor thing.
It's so tragic. So tragic. When is a good time to request an increase of credit on a credit card? Just before applying for new credit cards, I think is the perfect time. Because there won't be a credit check when they look at a credit increase, but they will do a soft pull that won't show up on your credit. But once you apply for a new card, that is going to show up on your credit. Also, immediately after getting approved for a card, like when somebody, like she just got approved for a card last week. We just got the card in the mail. So today or tomorrow, we will call the number on the back of the card and ask for a credit limit increase immediately. And we will do it over the phone. So we're talking to a human, and it increases the likelihood of actually getting a credit limit increase. They just approved you for a credit anyway, so to ask for an extra $1,000 or an extra $2,000 on that is very easy to do.
I already did that.
You already did it? Did you get approved?
No.
Oh, they didn't. Oh.
They didn't approve me this time, and I'll tell you why. And it's something that may surprise somebody. So if you just received a car loan or you just received a home loan and you've just now gotten that on your record, they will not approve you for a credit increase at that time.
Right. And we just did a refinance a month ago, so we're very new to that.
They want to see you make a few payments first.
So do I have my other platform back yet? I can post to it, but I don't have full control over it because the controlling account is still banned. And it is now, I've talked to support a couple times, it is 100% for impersonating myself because I have a person stealing my content from TikTok and posting it on that social media with my name, with my faces, with all of that, with 130,000 followers. And that person managed to get me banned for impersonating me. And they're working on trying to get it fixed, but it's, even with all the phone calls and everything else, we still have yet to get me put back in place and taking that person
So
down.
Shane is able to post to Shane is great.
Which is my page for...
But the one that says Shane McKinney
that
is not Shane.
That's an imposter. And they will lie and say that they're the real me and everything else. That is absolutely an imposter on that platform. I don't have any apartments for rent right now.
And do be aware that if you are watching this on that particular platform with the blue F
Right.
and the and the book,
You are watching an imposter right now because this is probably being recorded off of another live and put there because I'm not on that right now.
he's only on Shane is great there.
Yeah, it's been very frustrating, but we're going to get it all back under control very soon. We're up to 40,000 followers on that platform as of today, and that's a pretty significant accomplishment.
Yeah, they are making money off of him right now. And that's probably not the first person that they've done that to.
It'll be okay.
They changed the name to his name this summer.
Yeah, they haven't even had my name for that long. I've had the name since 2009 was when I opened my account with that platform with the same name. So it seems like it should be pretty obvious which of us is the real one. I was even blue check verified. I had to submit my driver's license and passport for that, and so it was very surprising. We didn't expect that.
Yeah, they are everywhere. If you're on TikTok, of course, that it is Shane is great. Right.
Correct.
Right.
Or any platform, really. Shane is great will be my social media. Make sure to include the Y in my name. Why refi if you have lots of money? John, the goal is not to have lots of money. The goal is to have lots of assets. Many people miss that. We have a high net worth. That doesn't mean we have a lot of money. Those are two very different things. And our money comes from our assets. So the refi is how we turn an asset into available money to buy more things. All of that sounds complicated and jargony, but just follow me and I will teach you as we go.
The person that claimed to be him asked for Shane does not ask for donations.
If you are on TikTok, you are following me correctly. And it will say Shane McKinney up there, but if you were to open the name, you would see that it says Shane is great on TikTok. And that's why I can reply to you right now, is because I'm seeing you here. But if you are on another platform that is not TikTok and you're seeing this recording on the book of Zuckerberg, that would be that would be an imposter. You could also be seeing me on Google's video platform right now, and this is really me too. So on a couple different platforms.
Mm-hmm. So all of our vacation rentals are located in the Fort Smith, Arkansas region.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he has a blue star on that book.
Yes, the Book of Zuckerberg.
I will even say hello
Yes.
here on the live right now if you're watching this on TikTok, so you'll get to see me.
I do not have any properties in North Carolina.
I'm doing a lot of cowboy heads.
Cowboy heads.
Cowboy heads. That's me.
There she is. A lot of cowboy heads, just like Midnight Cowboy, right?
Midnight Cowboy. Oh, goodness.
Or wait, was it Urban Cowboy? What was the name of that movie?
Urban Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy. I don't remember what the name of that movie was. It was long ago that we watched that.
I'm sending some hearts. Yay! You called.
Go ahead, get closer.
I know, I have to get closer.
She can't read as far away as I
Says
can.
I called you pretentious on the blue platform video for months back. It was pretentious movement, but I have to say you're a good dude. Thank you.
And I appreciate you being able to change your mind on something.
Yeah.
It's always cool when we can reevaluate our position.
And we have person who was asking if we refunded the people who
Right.
stayed.
And I
Or didn't
responded to
stay.
that earlier.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know the comments don't move there as fast, and I have to get really close to read them.
It's okay. I love you so much. I think you're amazing.
We are very close to Oklahoma, yes.
Yeah, right on the border. We could almost, we could walk about 5 minutes that way and throw a rock into Oklahoma. We couldn't walk to it because there's a river between us. But
It's an honor to meet you as well.
Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's almost time to read another chapter. How's your voice feeling?
One more drink of water, please.
Please what?
Sir.
Good girl.
Okay. Saw you adjusting something.
I was just trying to get you in frame. You've scooted a little bit more off to the side.
Oh.
No big deal.
Well, the light's kind of...
However, it works for your book the best.
Well, if you can move the light that way some, that would probably help.
I can try.
The information... Well, right now I've got the microphones shading the book, so I was thinking if we could get some light coming that way.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is. The information that has been given to Mrs. Williams respecting her daughter and James Anderson, having together left the great hall of Anderbury House, was perfectly correct. The voice of Anderson whispering words of affection in her ear, in the ears of Helene, was sufficient to arouse her from the state of syncope into which she had fallen. And when she recovered and looked in his face, the expression of joy which her countenance wore at once dispelled all of his doubts. Helene, Helene, my dear Helene, he whispered, are you indeed still in heart mine? Still as ever, she replied. Come with me. I have much to tell you, and we need not heed the thoughts and feelings of the throng that is here. If you can walk, place your arm in mine and lean upon me, and we will get out of all this trouble and confusion. Helene was but too glad to avail herself of such an offer, and she accordingly at once did so, and leaning for support upon that arm, which of all others she most loved to bear upon, they together passed out of the great hall through one of the numerous doorways leading from it. Being both of them quite ignorant of what may be called the topography of Anderbury House, they went on until they came to a small but very elegant apartment, in which a table was laid with wines and some costly refreshments, which from the fact of an extremely clerical-looking shovel hat had been upon one of the chairs, that there was no great difficulty in coming to the conclusion that this had been a reception-room got up for the purpose for the reverend gentleman who was to perform the ceremony of marriage between the Baron and Miss Williams, and in which he had refreshed himself prior to the performance of that dreadfully arduous task, for which, no doubt, as all persons are, he was so very insufficiently paid. A glass of wine, which James Anderson poured out for Helene, tended much to recover her, and then he said to her in a sense of the greatest affection, "Helene, Helene, is it possible that you really so far forgot me as to promise your hand to another?" She burst into tears as she clung to his arm, saying, "I know you cannot. You ought not to forgive me. I did promise, but I did not forget you, and if you know the cruel persecution to which I have been subjected, you would pity perhaps as much as you condemn me. You did not know. You did not know. I wrote you a note. It has been some days since I wrote you a note." "Me? A note? Oh, heavens, no, no. What became of it? To whom did you entrust it? Oh, James, I had but thought that you were near me. Do you think that for one moment that I would have yielded, even to the representations which were made to me?" "I see it all," he said. "Your mother has carried on this manner in much more tact than in candor and honey—" Let me try that again. "I see it all now. Your mother has carried on this matter with more tact than candor and honesty of purpose. I do not condemn you, dear Helene, and no one shall ever disturb you in your possession of a heart which is wholly yours." "And can you forget?" "Ah, but that I love you. I can and will forget, Helene." "I do not deserve this noble generosity, for I ought not to have yielded, James. I feel that I ought to have clung to the remembrance of your wonderful affection, and found in that an abundant consolation, as well as abundant strength to resist the whole world." "Say no more, dearest, upon that head, but let us to fulfill and enjoy the happiness of this meeting without the drawback of a single doubt. We will never part again."
Are they going to scootily poop?
"Never, never." But James, what was the meaning of that sudden exclamation from one of the guests regarding the Baron? "You allude to Admiral Bell proclaiming to him to be a vampire, and I must say that it fills me with quite as much astonishment as it can you. I did hear a strange story of that sort of a sailor a short time ago, but I looked upon it as a more superstition, and I paid no attention to it. You know what it means, I presume, and that a vampire is supposed to be a half-supernatural creature, who supports a spurious and horrible existence by feeding upon the blood of anyone whom he can make his victim." "Oh, if this horrible superstition," said Helene with a shudder, "is true, what a dreadful fate that I have escaped." "It surely must be error of judgment, but still, dear one, you have escaped a dreadful fate, a fate worse than any vampire would have inflicted upon you, the fate of being united to one whom you cannot love." "Yes, that is indeed an escape. But how came you, of all persons in the world, to be a guest here?" "I came, Helene, under the cover of a general invitation, with a most worthy family, whose kindness I feel myself much indebted, and when empowered by them to bring with them whom they pleased, my wish and object was to take one last look at the face of her whom I loved so well before I left you forever." "Oh, heavens! And I was so near being sacrificed while you were by. Oh, even now I shudder at the dreadful chasm that I feel that you ought not forgive me." "Say no more. Say no more. All that, Helene, is now past and forgotten, and I can well imagine how your mother would torture you with supplications because she believed this man to be rich, and consequently the sort of person above all others as most desirable for her to have as a son-in-law. We will only consider that a great anxiety and a great danger has passed away, and we will not stop to ask ourselves what it was." "Ever good and ever generous," resumed Helene, as her head reposed upon her lover's chest.
Mm. You're incredible. Did you know that?
I am. Our other platform there was stuck for it, but I
Just
hope it
for a
didn't
minute.
miss too much.
It happens.
Oi! Said Jack Pringle as he popped his head into the room.
I beg your pardon. You're better engaged, but we are going to have a grand vampire hunt through the house, and I thought you would like to join in it, perhaps.
Stay a moment, stay, cried Anderson. Do you mean to tell me really that this is the person who gave your friends the Bannerworth so much trouble and inconvenience?
Oh, yes, I do. Lord bless you, he's quite an old acquaintance of ours, is old Varney. Sometimes he hunts us, and sometimes we hunt him. He is a rather troublesome acquaintance, notwithstanding, and I think there are a good many people in the world as jolly right worse vampires than Varney.
That's true. Varney's an amazing vampire. He's great.
I have no cause to hunt him, said Anderson, and so therefore I feel certainly more inclined to decline, otherwise engaging in such a transaction.
Well, don't mention it, said Jack. You're a deuce deal better engaged, and there need be excuses. There need be no excuses.
Sometimes you're dyslexic.
Jack was quite correct as regarded the projected hunt for the unfortunate Varney in Anderbury House, for the liberal offer of reward which the Admiral had made to anyone who would secure him was calculated to stimulate every possible exertion that people could make upon the occasion, so much so indeed that the Bannerworths, after a brief consultation among themselves, thought that for the protection of Varney it would be much better that they should find him than now leave him with the character that had been given him as such a dangerous member of society. The servants and some of the guests even had gone very systematically to work for the purpose of taking Varney prisoner, for in the first instance they had secured all of the outlets from the house, so that as the footman with the yellow plush continuations remarked that he must jump over the cliff if he wanted to get away. The Admiral and Henry agreed with each other that they would be foremost in the search, in order to protect Varney from any violence, for although this conduct of his might be considered as very bad and an outrage upon society in passing himself off as a baron, and endeavouring to effect an alliance with a young and innocent girl, yet they, the Bannerworths, had nothing to complain of in the transaction whatever. Consequently, was it that they felt an inclination to defend Varney from personal violence. And this was, to a certain extent, to be dreaded, because Anderbury being so short a distance from Bannerworth Hall, it was not to be supposed but that some news of the mysterious appearance of the vampire had reached the ears of almost everyone who happened to be present at the Baron's wedding. And although these persons might be supposed to belong to a class of society not likely to commit acts of violence, yet there was no knowing what, in the excitement of the moment, might be done. While the search went on, Flora was introduced to Helene Williams, and remained with her, commencing a friendship which lasted afterwards to the great advantage of Helene, who for many a year. I just added in a word.
It's okay.
Mm.
Do you need to take a break or are you good?
I'll take a small break.
Sometimes she needs to rest her voice from doing some of the difficult voices. Here you go. Have some salt water, dear.
Thank you, darling.
You're amazing. So Varney the Vampire is a collection of penny dreadfuls. It was written 50 years before Dracula was written. We're almost to 200,000. I will do a magic trick when we get to 200,000. It's been absolutely wonderful, and we've enjoyed reading it to you very much. She's been putting an incredible amount of effort into it. What's in the water? This is salt water, so it's water mixed with salt. Is a Penny Dreadful a serial story? Is like a TV show? So Penny Dreadful would have been
like a comic book.
Yeah, it would have been released in small sections. You paid a penny for, and it would be released. I think like maybe monthly or so. They would release a new one. So maybe think of it like an early comic book, something like that. I guess it's time for magic.
How was
We're over
his eggs this
200,000.
morning? His eggs were lovely this morning.
So 200,000. I'm going to do some magic for you. Everyone, this trick is one of my favorites. I need you to just spend a minute trying to figure this out and see if you can understand how it works. Okay, so we got the red is connected to the yellow. I'll try to show it to you from several angles so you can see how this works. Red and yellow. You see the little hole there. So imagine the string going through. Green and red are connected. Green and red. Red and yellow. Right? Okay. Everyone understand. Now, red and green. Green and yellow. Green and yellow. See that? Green and yellow. Red and yellow. Red and green. There's another one. The green and the purple are connected, and the purple and the yellow are connected. See that? So green and yellow, green and red, purple and yellow. Some of you may have figured out how this works, but for those of you who haven't, I'm going to show you now. So pay attention. And we're going to get up nice and close here, and I'm just going to show you. They're not connected at all. I hope you enjoy that very much. Do you need to drink some more? You sound like you got a little cough there. Arlene, are you okay? What's wrong? This is from not drinking enough and reading too much. You pushed yourself to the limit, dear. Yeah, I don't think you need to overdo this. Perhaps this should be the last little section of reading we do.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a weird bug going around, you know.
The Bannerworths would have been pleased and interested at going over Anderbury House under any other circumstances than the present one, for truly the Baron had made it a most magnificent abode. By judicious additions to the antique furniture which had belonged to it when he took it, he had made some of the apartments look gorgeous in the extreme, and while he had not distributed the character of the decorations, he had certainly shown a very fine taste in adding to them. He had not disturbed the character of the decorations. But their minds were far too occupied with considerations connected with Varney to pay much attention to his house, and as they traversed room after room in search of him without finding him, they began to think that with his usual good fortune he had contrived entirely to escape. The servants, who knew the place well, perhaps better than Varney, did himself search for him in almost impossible places, until it began to be the general opinion that he must have escaped. They were standing by a large bay window which commanded the view of the gardens, when one of the servants suddenly exclaimed, "I see him! I see him! There he goes!" and pointed into the gardens, where for one instant Henry Bannerworth, as well as the Admiral, saw Varney in his rich suit of wedding apparel dart from among the bushes towards a summer-house that was in the garden near at hand. "'Tis he indeed," said Henry. "Let us get down instantly, or he may yet effect an escape." "Oh, no, no," cried one of the servants. "He cannot do that. The garden wall is too high, and the men are stationed at the gate. It's quite clear to me what he is about. Look at him. He's going towards the old passage that leads to the seashore." "Then he will escape, of course," said Henry, "for no one can hope to overtake him." "Don't be afraid of that, sir," cried another servant. "One of my mates has gone round to the beach to watch, and he won't let the door be opened that leads out onto the sand, so he cannot get away by that mode." "In that case, then we have him completely entrapped, and as you may say, he cannot escape. It must be the madness of positive desperation that induces him to go to that place."
"Well, then, let us be off at once after him," said the Admiral. "That is our only plan. Come on at once. The sooner we get a hold of him, the better, for his own sake as well for ours."
Thus urged, they all proceeded towards the garden, in which was the mysterious well-like cottage entrance to the subterraneous passage which formed so great a feature in the estate of Anderbury on the moment, and which, at the time that Varney had taken the mansion, had evidently formed to him one of its principal attractions. To the Admiral and his party, as well as to several of the guests who joined from motives of curiosity in the pursuit of Varney, this place was perfectly new, and it certainly, to look down, did not present by any means an inviting prospect, for although it sloped sufficiently to take off the absolute appearance of being a downright hole in the earth, yet, beyond a few feet in depth, the gloom had something positively terrific about it.
"Well," said the Admiral, "I've been into the hold of many a ship, but never one that looked half so gloomy as this, I can say. What do you say to it, Jack?" "Well, it's no use to saying anything to such places," said Jack. "The only way if we want to catch old Varney, which I suppose we do, is to pop down at once and be done with it. So come along. I won't flinch if it was 10 times worse. Come on, Admiral, let's go down after the enemy." "Well, I can't say that it's exactly the kind of place that I admire," said the Admiral, "but whomsoever and howsomever, if one must go down it, who shall say that the Admiral Bell flinched from it? Come on, all of you. Let all who will follow."
The passage did not look very inviting, and it was found that the courage of the guests began to cool down wonderfully when, instead of rushing from apartment to apartment in search of Varney, they found that they had to encounter the gloom and darkness of that underground abode. Out of the positive throng which had been pursuing Varney, only 4, in addition to the Admiral and the male portion of his party, ventured to descend into the black-looking place.
"What!"
cried Jack.
"Have we got such a lot of skulkers whenever we come to close quarters with the enemy? Well, shiver my timbers, if I didn't expect as much from the lot of landlubbers, who don't know what they are in about, any more than a marine in a squall. But who cares? Come along, Admiral, and if we do have all the fighting, we shall at all events have all the glory."
"I hope there will be nothing of that, at all events," said Henry, "for my intention is rather to save Varney from injury than to injure him."
"We must have lights," said the Admiral, "and I don't mind going down into a queer place to look for Varney, but I must have the means of seeing what I am about when I get there."
"They will be here, sir, directly," said a big footman, who from the first had made himself conspicuous in the pursuit of Varney. That is to say, ever since the reward of £100 had been offered by the Admiral to anyone who would take him prisoner. And in a few moments some of the links which were always kept in the kitchen of Anderbury House for the express purpose of descending into the subterraneous passage were produced and lighted. By this time, too, the 4 guests had decreased to 3, and 2 of those seemed to hang back rather a little, while one of them seemed disposed to make up as much possible for any deficiency of courage on the part of the other, by declaring his intentions of ferreting out Varney, let him be hidden where he might.
"I am with you, sir," he said to the Admiral. "Let this place lead where it may, for I have heard so much about vampires, and I really am so curious to know more about them." "You don't believe in them, do you?"
"Well, I cannot say that I do, sir, but at the same time, when we hear such well-authenticated cases brought forward about them, it's very difficult indeed to say at once that one has to believe in such things."
"Well, you're right enough there, and if you knew as much about Varney the Vampire as we do, I think that you would be a little puzzled to know what to say about him, for I'll be hanged if he don't puzzle me about a bit, and I don't know what to think of him."
That's the end of the chapter. And next week, it is very probable that we will have to miss the first Wednesday night we've missed in a long time. I guess the last Wednesday, I can't remember when we missed one. But next Wednesday, we will be in Turkey. So
Gobble
we'll be
gobble, baby.
9 hours off on our timing and such. And it will be unlikely that will be able to hold this.
Yes,
We
it
will
would be, what would it be, like 3 o'clock in the morning there?
something like that. It would be pretty late, and we are not known for being night owls. I don't know how we'll be dealing with the jet lag and everything depending on how that's going. We will be live while we're in Turkey, and we would definitely post some videos and content. But
I heard there's cats everywhere. We are taking allergy medicine for
yes,
Shane.
I definitely need to take allergy medicine because I'm very allergic to cats. Cats make my eyes itch very badly.
It's okay, you still love him.
Thank you. Thank you so very
Despite
much.
his cat allergies.
Yes, we're going to Turkey. We're going to be in Istanbul, not Constantinople. We have a date in Istanbul, not Constantinople.
They're inside all the restaurants. Oh my.
They're inside the restaurants themselves?
That's
oh, that
wild.
sounds terrible. Oh. Ugh. Okay, that's the thing I'm honestly looking forward to the least is the cats. Definitely not looking forward to that.
We do have kids. They are grown men.
We hope so as well, and we will definitely be publishing some content and everything throughout all the stuff that we're doing.
We have 4 vacation rentals. Yep, it'll be 2 weeks till Varney time.
There are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese, yes.
You discovered our child. Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's Ram something 616.
Karen, I tried to answer you, but I guess it didn't come through. Between $160 and $260 most of the time. It depends. If you're going to book, during Christmas holidays or something, the prices will be higher. Spring break weeks, the prices will be higher. But usually $150 to $250, $260 for the Vampire Den.
Ramification 616. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Kelly.
Any financial advice for a 21-year-old girl, please? If you look in my TikTok showcase or just search somewhere, you will be able to find a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read it. Seriously, read that book. Understand it. Let that change your life. Some wise older man told me when I was about your age that I should read that book and it would help me to understand money and wealth and everything, and it would put me on a better trajectory. And I looked that guy in the eyes and said, dude, I'm really smart. I don't need to read some book to figure this out. And he's like, no, Shane, like you're really intelligent, but you should read this. There are things you will learn that will help you. And I said, no, I'm going to figure out how to be rich on my own.
Karen, you'll need to do that through the app. So if you follow his links, you'll be able to figure out how to get to the vacation rentals.
You should be able to find it from my bio on my page. So he didn't try any further, and I did not read that book until I was 37 years old. If I could go back in time and change anything in my life, I would go punch myself in the face at that moment and say, no, you listen to this guy and you read that book, Shane, because he's right. And I didn't read it, and I wish I had.
Good night, my friend. I hope you enjoy couch rotting. So, how to get rid of the smell from too many pets being locked into a house and having nowhere to go tinkle?
So, an ozone machine is going to help. Kennel cleaner. If you look for some kennel cleaner, that will help. You're going to have to get all the little crevices, all the little cracks, but an ozonator and some kennel cleaner.
It's going to be a job. It's not going to be something that you can, just half do. You got to really do it.
Yeah. And you're going to be cleaning everything. It's going to
Vinegar.
be in the ductworks. It's going to be in the crevices under things. It's going to be the tops of trim. Everywhere is going to be covered with that odor, and all the walls will need to be cleaned. I recommend LA Awesome is a really good cleaner. Just dilute it down because it's a little too strong when you first get it. Dilute it down and use some of that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's the book we were talking about.
Aww. Love you too. Lemon peels everywhere. Thank you. I used a lot of gel today.
Oh, excuse me. I think it's time that we begin to prepare for our trip. I love you guys. Bye.
Take care of yourselves.